Alert! It's a flash sale for 1 week only at Room to Room in 6 p.m. Saturday. Prices slash store-wide. Insert coupons, BOGO accessories, King for a Queen mattress deals, and special financing. These deals will be gone in a flash. Room to Room Tupelo.
Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 10.
Seems like everything is waking up here at the 10 o'clock hour, and I hope that you are too. I'm going to go ahead and toss it over to the wall real quick so we can go over this forecast in a little bit more detail. So as we toss it back here to the wall, of course, we're talking latest on Mississippi Live Weather at 10, severe weather threat into your Sunday. I'm meteorologist Gabe Maynard. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been a hectic evening trying to get everything together for you, but I think we've been able to do exactly that. Let's go ahead and jump into those headlines. And of course, tracking a Sunday severe weather threat that's topping our broadcast tonight. But we're also talking about the cold. Moving into next week, these temperatures are going to drop. And we're talking winter feeling air. So I hope you have those coats around. I hope you don't have to dust them off too much. I know it's been a couple of weeks since we've had to have that. And highlights from our game of the week. Yes, like I said, hectic evening, getting that all together, but we have it all for you coming up at 10 o'clock on your Friday. Severe weather risk level 3 still in place for all of North Mississippi and Northwest Alabama. Main threat's going to be some of those gusty winds, but again, we'll get into those confidence levels here in just a moment. As you see, that level 3 threat, a 700-mile stretch from northern Louisiana up there towards southern Indiana and North Mississippi included within that area. And that's where, of course, we're watching the threats for severe weather. Winds, damaging winds expected with this setup. And as we look at that brief tornado threat, brief tornadoes are possible. Some of those could be on the stronger side. Some of that upper level wind showing a little bit more consistency, which means that that support is a little bit higher for some of these potential tornadoes to form within that line. But we're hopeful that that will, of course, we'll move into Monday, and that will not be what we're talking about. As we look at our Mama Justice Doppler radar, we are seeing this cold front push into North Mississippi, but that's not the threat we're watching. It's actually this low pressure center up there towards Nebraska, towards South Dakota, and this is where we're getting some of that moisture return up there towards Kansas, but where we're seeing those impacts will be with that severe weather threat once it moves more into North Mississippi by our Sunday. But it is Friday. That means we have an entire day to enjoy before we get into that Sunday forecast. The first 12, 51 degrees by 11, we're 47 by 2, dropping into the mid-40s for the start of our Saturday. So sleeping in may be worthwhile, allowing some of that sunshine to work its magic and warm things up. And we expect it to do exactly that. By the time we get into our Saturday morning plans, though, should be dry, should be sunny, should be a beautiful day that we get to enjoy here in the Magnolia State. That front teasing us in a way. It's not exactly pushing that drier, cooler air over the top of North Mississippi, so we're going to be pretty much sitting around the same as we get into those Saturday afternoon plans, if not a little bit warmer. So that cold front not really living up to its name in this aspect. Our low temperature Saturday morning, low to mid 40s across the region, but we do expect that to start to climb once we enter into our Saturday afternoon. Again, this is going to be part of a frontal system that's not really doing anything of a frontal system. No rain, no clouds, and no rain, no clouds, and no real drop in temperatures. So it's just going to continue to remain about the same despite that front trying to move in. Once we get more into our Saturday afternoon, you can see those southerly breezes back into our area, and that's returning some of the moisture while also returning some of that warmer air. And that's going to allow for the potential for some showers by Sunday and the potential for some storms as well. A little bit of cloud cover tries to move into North Mississippi on the latter part of our Saturday, but again, no rain chances attached to it. We're remaining dry for those Saturday plans. Saturday afternoon, I told you it would get even warmer. We're 78 Eupora in Houston, 77 Columbus, 75 Hamilton, Alabama, and we are sitting in the mid to upper 70s there towards Senatobia, all the way down I-55 towards Greenwood. So folks, get out there tomorrow afternoon. It will be very much worth your while. Let's go ahead and expand things out because Saturday night, nothing is really happening except for the atmosphere is readying itself for Sunday night's threat. What I mean by that, southerly winds are building back into the forecast, and that is where that moisture is being driven from, but also some of that warmer air. So by the time Sunday morning, dealing with some of those partly cloudy skies, and again, that's just showing the moisture is there to destabilize that atmosphere once this threat does move in. Sunday morning, though, not tracking any rainfall. A few chances out there towards southern Alabama. But when we're talking here in North Mississippi, could see a brief isolated shower, but overall we're remaining dry across the northern half of the Magnolia State. Low temperature Sunday morning showing that those milder, more unstable conditions are trying to move into North Mississippi. We're 54 Houston and Bruce, same thing Starkville and Columbus, 56 Corinth, 58 Greenwood, and same thing for parts of Greenville, even up there towards Northwest around South Haven. So going to be mild, not nearly as cold, but those temperatures just continue to climb as the day goes on. Take a look as we go about our Sunday. I'm going to zoom things out and then we'll bring it back in here in just a moment, but you can kind of see some of that moisture return with those showers actually building right along the Alabama state line. Those are going to be well below severe limits. Where we expect our severe weather threat to come from is this cold front right here. And this is our latest version of the HRRR, which is one of our short range models. And this is walking us through a bit more on the timing and the potential impacts. And one thing that stands out almost immediately is it lines up pretty well with our tracks earlier on today, which is early on into our late afternoon, early evening time frame. When we were tracking this a couple days ago, it was trying to push into the overnight hours, and that's why we weren't as concerned with it, but we told you to be flexible with it as it could change, and it did. So as we take a look by 6 p.m., you can see how that front right along that Mississippi River, still getting some of that daytime heating in place as that sun is just starting to set. And again, destabilizing what we have here in North Mississippi. And as that front moves in, the potential for some strong to severe storms is unfortunately what we have to deal with. High temperatures, we're talking 80 degrees Sunday afternoon. So we talk about warming up. It's warming up pretty significantly as we get into our Saturday and then continuing into our Sunday. But once that cold front moves all the way into North Mississippi, by 7 p.m., we're tracking already a few of these cells embedded within the line that are showing some stronger portions just south of Greenville, east of Clarksdale, right over top of Senatobia. This is by 7 p.m. And that line will continue to move through North Mississippi, and by 9 p.m. we're across Highway 45. So a fast-moving system, but we do expect impacts to still be felt. So once this fully clears your area, then you are in the clear. It's going to be right along this leading edge that we're watching for some of those potential brief but strong tornadoes, potential for some of those strong damaging wind gusts in excess of 60 miles an hour. So we do expect some impacts to be felt along that leading edge, not to mention the fact that we're going to have a very tight gradient. And those pressure bars that we were showing yesterday, that's what we're dealing with in this setup as well. When those get tighter, that gradient wind can be impactful as well. Not exactly a severe parameter, but still can knock some things down in the process. That moving more into Alabama by the early hours of our Monday, late hours of our Sunday. And then as we get into Monday morning, this is what we were talking about last night and this evening once again, potential for a few flakes. Not expecting any accumulations though. We're going to school Monday. No extended spring break in this format. Just going to see maybe a few picturesque flakes as we head out the door for our start of the final stretch of school. So that's something good to note when you're looking at the grand scheme of things. At least there's something to look forward to, because as long as it's a couple flakes, we can deal with that. We don't want it to accumulate though, and that's where we draw the line. Our 7-day forecast, of course, all eyes are on Sunday, our most significant day for those rain chances, and that's going to be causing some showers, causing some thunderstorms, and causing some impacts with those stronger thunderstorms late into our Sunday, continuing into those, at least the start of the overnight hours. By the time we get more into Monday, and throughout next week, those temperatures are dropping. We're mid-30s Monday morning, mid-20s Tuesday morning, and then still sticking close to that freezing point by Wednesday morning. So dust off those coats, ladies and gentlemen. It is going to be a cold, cold week next week. And before we get there, we do have to, of course, have that Mississippi Live weather app handy for some of those showers and storms. Okay, that's the weather side of it. Of course, we are Mississippi Live weather, but we know on Fridays we like to showcase a little bit of our sports here in North Mississippi. And we're at softball tonight, transitioning into that spring season. Let's take a look at some of those highlights that we have, of course, starting with some of our non-player MVPs in the region and also our fan sections of the week. Let's take a look at that. I think I clicked off. There we go. Let's get back on this.
So you're our most valuable non-player of the game. Why do you think people would say that?
Oh, well, I work the concession about every game, and I want the parents to be able to watch their children, and I just have a daughter as an assistant coach.
What's been your most favorite part of doing this over the years that you can think of? Is there an instant you're like, this is really rewarding?
Just being able to help the team. Concessions is sort of like a fundraiser, and it helps them to get their equipment and stuff. and I just enjoy helping the team.
When you've been injured, don't settle for a lawyer who doesn't even know where you live. Call Langston and Lott. Local lawyers, personal service, real results.
Every legend starts somewhere.
Not with perfection, but with the decision.
The decision to show up, work harder, and believe this place can change everything.
At Northeast, you're more than just a number.
We're built on opportunity, and our students are willing to rise to the occasion.
Here, success isn't handed to you, it's earned.
You don't just leave with a degree, you leave as a legend.
For decades, I've taught you everything I know. But only you can prevent wildfires.
Right now, from the Room to Room Weather Center, here's meteorologist Gabe Maynor.
So our most valuable non-player was Monty up there in Boonville, showing her Blue Devil pride, and of course they did on the diamond as well. And our fans of the week were East Union, the Urchins showing up there in Boonville tonight, and we'll see who came out with the victory, but we're 1-1 in this vote, and that's always exciting heading into the Game of the Week highlights, because that means who won the game wins the overall matchup this week. But I do want to note before we toss to our Ethan Foster that we do still have this level 3 risk in place for North Mississippi for those strong to severe storms, and we'll go over those the confidence for those impacts in just a moment. But Ethan, fun time at the game. I'm jealous that I wasn't out there with you guys, but looked like fun.
Yes, Gabe, of course it was a fun time. We had a lot of fun out on the diamond. Of course, softball season just in full swing like baseball is, college and high school. Of course, our game of the week this week was a battle between East Union and, of course, the Boonville Blue Devils. Let's go ahead and take a look at how it all shook. On hand tonight between the Urchins and the Blue Devils. East Union, the 2A state title champions last year. Let's take a look. Right here, top of the 3rd inning, you're going to see a little bit of a chase down attempt. That's Lucy Cochran at second. She's going back and forth, but she actually ended up being just a distraction for Maddie Robbins to make it home right there. I was even distracted. I didn't even see the runner come home. Just had to see the reaction there. East Union up 1-0 at the first part there. That made it 2-0. Of course, moving on right here, top of the 4th inning, Urchins up 2-0. You're going to see a little sac fly action. That's Lily Mae Watson hitting the sac fly, but that would allow Miss Marley Clayton to run home. You might remember that name. That allowed Caroline Sherwood to get back to home, get back to second safely. But Marley Clayton big on the basketball court for us this season. She was dropping threes on the court, making it happen on the diamond as well. And then right here, top of the 5th inning, Urchins up by 3. Lucy Cochran hit that into the gap there in left field. That allowed Maddie Robbins to come in safely from second for a little RBI single action. Urchins led 4-0 after that hit there. That was the last run scored tonight. After the game, you can see there both teams linking up arms for the Lord's Prayer. The final score in this one, 4-0 in favor of the defending 2A state champions. And I got to give a little bit of a shout out here at the very end because this was a pitching battle to say the least. 4-0 in favor of the Urchins. You're going to see a little bit of video pop up here at the very end of Miss Lucy Cochran. She was number 12. Watch the little strikeout action right here. Close up. Boom. Send them out to end the inning right there. She was dialing them up all night long. I debated on whether just a couple of strikeouts in there, a little bit of a highlight there, because that was the highlight very early. But again, congratulations to the East Union Urchins on defeating the Blue Devils tonight in Blue Devil country. watching. So I know that the Maynard household will be happy about that. Gabe, of course, happy to be here with you guys covering more softball tonight. We'll be back out next Friday or Thursday, depending on how it shakes out, with another game of the week sponsored by Casey Lott and all of his associates over there at Langston and Lott. We're so thankful for his sponsorship and support to allow us to cover something that's near and dear to our hearts, high school sports all season long, football, basketball, baseball, softball. We got it all. Again, thanks so much to everyone back at home. Looking forward to being back with you guys next week.
Well, I guess that works.
There you go. Yeah. We didn't know if it would work tonight. You heard me. It sounded like I was just about to be gone there.
You know how I was telling you guys that it was a little bit of madness before we got into the 10 o'clock? Yeah, this was the madness. So I guess the 2-box works in some aspects, not others. So, Ethan, we will work to iron that out behind the scenes, but great job tonight.
Yeah, and Gabe, glad you are in here for a second. I didn't think I was going to get to be on screen with you there, but
Hey,
what do you think about your urchins out there, Gabe? Get a chance to hear back from you on that.
Okay, so I was talking to my wife. I guess now we are Blue Devils because she is a teacher out there, so we got to root for the home team. But like you mentioned, she is an alum of East Union, so we have to be happy as well as sad. So it was going to be a win-lose scenario either way, but I'm happy for the urchins.
And how about Marley Clayton? I don't know if you remember her name or not, but I remember very vividly, she had multiple made threes just a couple of games ago when we were looking at the district-wide tournaments to determine playoff seeding. So that's kind of cool to get to see her out there, two-way athlete. Super cool to see that.
Two-way athlete and hoping to bring two state titles back to East Union. At least they brought it home on the basketball court and trying to do so in softball. So it'll be fun to kind of tag along for the journey and see how that pans out at the end of the year. But Ethan, great job tonight once again, per usual. And we appreciate all the time that you spent out there on the diamond, not the hardwood anymore.
Not the hardwood, back on the diamond. Thanks, Gabe. Glad to be back with you.
Of course. Well, let's go ahead and bring it back here. I'm not going to keep you guys too much longer. Let's go ahead and go over those severe weather threats one more time, and I will wrap it up for the night. You can see that we are the highest confidence level there for winds, those damaging wind gusts along that leading edge, but also some of that gradient wind as well. We talk about the pressure gradient, the high and low pressure, whenever those are kind of aligned together and a little bit stronger, that's where we get some of that tighter pressure gradient, and that's where we can get some stronger wind gusts. You talk about how pressure makes diamonds at, tight pressure. Well, same way here, it can make some strong winds. So strong damaging winds possible with both of those aspects, but we also talk about brief tornadoes possible. Not ruling out some brief stronger tornadoes too. That's why our confidence level is a little bit higher than the other two parameters there at the bottom with hail and wind. So we're paying attention to tornadoes, we're paying attention to wind, and we expect that to move in late Sunday night. And that is where our Caleb Edelblut will be watching this throughout your weekend, along with our chief meteorologist, Matt Lopon. So if you have the Mississippi Live weather app, you are good to go. And of course, that's one of the ways you can stay safe. We also talk about weather call as well. Let me see if this real quick. Yes, get up behind the scenes. Let me clear this off. I'll have to go back one. There we go, and let me pull this up, and I think we'll knock it out. Okay, sweet. There's always something blocking it. There we go. So clearing that out, Mississippi Live weather call, make sure to download that today or sign up for it. You can do so using the QR code on the bottom of your screen. There we go, the Room to Room Weather Center showing up. But behind the Room to Room Weather Center, you can see that it's a $15 a year fee, and you get the calls that let you know when there's tornadoes headed your way, when there's severe thunderstorms headed your way. It also calls back when that tornado is confirmed, or if it is confirmed, to let you know more of a heads up that this is a more concerning thing that we need to take action for. And so we want you guys to stay as safe as possible. So the Mississippi Live weather app, weather call, all different ways that you can have to stay safe and stay ready when these storms do strike. All right, let's go ahead and bring it back here, and we will wrap up this show. So like I mentioned, download that Mississippi Live weather app today. We also have our live shows. It's a little bit different during the weekends, 6 and 10 with meteorologist Caleb Edelblut. He will be walking through the latest on that timing and impact. And of course, as we get into the extended forecast, Sunday probably going to be live a little bit more than just 6 and 10 to accommodate for some of those storms and potential severe storm chances. You guys have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy your Saturday. Enjoy the start of your Sunday. But go ahead and get that safety plan in place as we approach Sunday night. We'll keep you safe. We'll be monitoring, and have a great weekend.
March 24th, 2023 was a normal Friday. You know, we knew the weather was not good, but we needed to take shelter, and we didn't have shelter. My husband and almost 2-year-old daughter, Ethan and Riley, they did lose their lives in the storm. We're still recovering from it. We'll always be recovering from it. Matt Lawpon cares about the community. He's not just there to collect a paycheck. I feel like Matt Lawpon has proven himself trustworthy.